They won the toss to the Eagles. They've elected to receive. Josh Huff, a rookie who ran back a kick for 107 yards in Week 12, a Philadelphia record, will receive. Dan Bailey will kick off. A look down at what they call the link. The fireworks go off. And we are set for what we think is going to be a heck of a game. And it starts with on a near winless night with the ball being blown off the tee. Go figure.
They got to recue the fireworks now. Let's do the whole thing again.
The wind at the moment, I'm just looking at the wind machine. It said 3 miles an hour a second to go. So maybe that's an omen. Who knows? And once again, after one false start, Bailey sends it down toward
Hot deep. It's going to bounce.
And it's going to bounce at the 17-yard line. The ball is loose. The Cowboys are there at the 17-yard line. Terry McCauley is the referee. Some miscommunication there because Huff was coming up to take it, but the up back looked around expecting Huff.
It's a live ball.
It's a live ball.
It's just like an onside kick. It doesn't matter where on the field. That is the Cowboys' ball if they're on it.
And they are.
Wow. I don't know if he just missed the kick, but it was well short, and none of the upbacks even seemed to react to it. Brad Smith was right there, and Huff just couldn't get up to it in time. It's on the ground, and now it is just a free-for-all down there.
And C.J. Spillman comes up with it. Brad Smith is a guy who's run back a lot of kicks in his career. Used to play with the Jets, but he moved forward looking to block. Huff came up from the goal line and couldn't handle it. Spillman winds up with the football, and the Cowboys get a huge break right off the bat as they have a first down at the 18-yard line.
Clearly, Huff thought that Brad Smith was going up to catch the ball. You could see Huff relax, thinking that Smith was going to get it. And now Tony Romo, who probably has had that injection in his back about 30 minutes ago, is out there ready to go.
Oddity here is that the Eagles have one of the best special teams groups in the National Football League, but a big mistake right off the bat. So after Philadelphia...
Seconds. 14:55.
After Philadelphia elects to receive, it also means that Dallas has a short field. Dallas will get the second half kickoff. So a near perfect start right now for the Cowboys. We'll see if they cash in.
On Thanksgiving, it was the Eagles who got off to the great start, and now the Cowboys with an opportunity.
DeMarco Murray leads the league in rushing. He is the running back. Play fake, Romo rolling, looks downfield, and everybody is covered, so he throws it way out of bounds as we take a look right now at the Dallas starters.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois University.
DeMarco Murray, Oklahoma.
Dez Bryant, Oklahoma State.
Terrence Williams, Baylor.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
James Hanna, Oklahoma. Tyree Smith, USC.
Ronald Leary, University of Memphis.
Travis Frederick, Wisconsin.
Zach Martin, Notre Dame. Doug Freed, Northern Illinois University.
Huff on the sideline trying to shake it off as the Cowboy offense comes up second down and 10. Play clock down to 3. And they give it to Murray, and Murray is forced out of bounds after a pickup of 5 yards by Cedric Thornton. Tony Romo owns an NFL record. He's thrown a touchdown pass in 39 consecutive road games. So you play 8 a year. That means over the last 5 years, he's thrown one in every game.
On the road this year, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. All their issues have been at home.
Cowboys now send 3 receivers out to the left. Romo out of the shotgun on a 3rd and 6 from the 14. 4-man rush, good protection, pass caught. That'll be a first down. Terrence Williams takes it to the 6-yard line. Carrie Williams, the cornerback, makes the stop. It'll be first down and goal for Dallas.
Just a little slant across the middle here, and it has been Williams who has not been much of a factor. Had 6 touchdowns early in the year, but really not doing much lately. And right off the bat, at least initially, this offensive line with good protection.
Yeah, he has seen less action. Cole Beasley has seen more. It's 1st and goal from the 6. Murray. And Murray taking the Eagles with him all the way down to the 1-yard line. Murray on pace for close to a 2,000-yard season. He's almost a cinch right now to win the rushing title. He's way out in front.
I'll tell you, a guy who's been playing really well lately is Doug Free. He had a broken foot, missed a few games, but now he and Jason Witten, they're just moving the pile down towards the 1-yard line. Trying to make an early statement with this offensive line.
2nd and goal. Clutch is the fullback. Murray has it. And Murray, after initial contact, able to thrust forward and get into the end zone for a Cowboys touchdown. So the misplay, and you can see Huff saying, my fault, it's on me. He gave up the ball, and the Cowboys cash in, going 18 yards.
Big Zach Martin in there taking care of Benny Logan, and then the fullback Klutz able to just clean up after that. But I tell you, for the Dallas Cowboys, the way they were embarrassed, the hot start, you could tell that Chip Kelly wanted to get his offense on the field and see if he could do it again in this game, and instead the tables are completely turned.
Now Bailey for the point after. And 2:14 into the game. Huff takes the blame. Cowboys go in for the score and lead 7-0. Huff back there again. And again, Bailey, a bouncing ball, scooped up by Huff. And the coverage is good as he's taken out of bounds by Barry Church. And let's take a look at the Philly offense.
Mark Sanchez, Southern Cal.
LaShawn McCoy, Pitt Panthers.
Jeremy Mackin, Mizzou Tigers.
Riley Cooper, Florida.
Jordan Matthews, Vanderbilt.
Brent Selleck, Cincinnati.
Jason Peters, Arkansas.
Evan Mathis, Alabama.
Jason Kelsey, Cincinnati.
Andrew Gardner, Georgia Tech.
Lane Johnson, Oklahoma.
So the Eagles, who of course go no huddle and fast pace and are running plays at a quicker pace than any team in history, start from the 22-yard line. And it goes out to Riley Cooper, and Cooper will get bottled up as he reaches the line of scrimmage. So put the clock in, time to the next play. They normally run a play in about 22 seconds. Second down and 10. This one they snap, or well, before they even snap it, you've got a false start here.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Jordan Matthews moved. They called that one on Jason Peters. They're both moving forward. Mark Sanchez now, since he took over for the injured Foles, 10 TDs, 62%, 88 rating. And a victory over Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. Up to the 21-yard line now goes LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy last year was the rushing champion. So he won the title that DeMarco Murray figures to win this year. He averaged, did McCoy, 5.1 yards per carry last year, but only 4.1 this season. Now 3rd down and 12 from the 20. Sanchez, good protection, and then that pass is incomplete, intended for McCoy. So about as ragged a start as you could possibly have. Botch the kickoff, let the Cowboys go in for a touchdown, and then a very quick 3 and out.
Well, and that's the key, because they're coming off a game against Seattle in which they had 139 yards of total offense, 82 yards passing, both the lowest ever in the Chip Kelly era. And now they turn around and start the game this way this time. And now they are taking their punt returner out. Chris Harris is going down because there was an empty slot over there with nobody guarding him, so nobody's going to field this punt.
And Donnie Jones will send it down to the 33. Wow. It takes a great Eagles punt. and it bounces 21 more yards down to the 12-yard line. That's a 69-yard kick. 7-0 Dallas. Game time temperature at 44. After that 69-yard punt that bounced 21 yards to the 12-yard line. Tony Romo under center. Murray over the right side gain of 3. Barwin makes the tackle. We go back to the punt.
You're going to see what happens. Right up here is Josh Huff, and Dwayne Harris had to come down and cover him for fear that they would just take the ball and throw it right there. So there's no punt returner in the middle of the field, and ultimately it cost the Cowboys probably 20-25 yards of field position. Not a bad play by Harris. He didn't want to give up the free shot down the boundary.
2nd and 7. James Hanna, the tight end, in motion. Play action, and Romo to the left side and just throws that one away. Witten covered by Allen. Pressure put on by Cole. Let's take a look at that Philadelphia defense.
Cedric Thornton, Southern Arkansas University.
Benny Logan, Louisiana State University.
Fletcher Cox, Mississippi State.
Connor Barwin, Cincinnati.
Casey Matthews, University of Oregon.
Michael Kendricks, Cal. Trent Cole, Cincinnati.
Bradley Fletcher, Iowa.
Nate Allen, University of South Florida.
Malcolm Jenkins, The Ohio State University.
Kerry Williams, Washburn.
3rd and 7 now from the 15-yard line. Romo over the middle to Witten, and Witten out to the 36-yard line. They've been doing that for both of their careers. 21-yard gain there.
Little double coverage out on Des Bryant, leaving Jason Witten wide open in the middle of the field there, working against Nate Allen. Here's a good matchup on the outside. You've got Trent Cole going against Tyron Smith, but for Tony Romo to come out and get out of the hole created by the mistake on special teams makes a huge difference now for this offense.
And converted on a 3rd and 7. The ball now from the 36-yard line. Good protection again.
Whoa.
To the outside, tipped and almost picked. On the pass intended for Dwayne Harris, Kerry Williams comes up to deflect it away. 2nd and 10.
Well, ordinarily, you'll see this guy, Kerry Williams, in a lot of man coverage, but usually in bump and run. This time he just read the route of Harris perfectly, and that's awfully lucky for the Cowboys. That wasn't a pick six. You better be careful out there with Kerry Williams. Very aggressive, very physical, now matched up against Des Bryant, who is equally physical.
Williams almost always lines up on the right side. Fletcher lines up on the other side. Bryant can go either way. This time it's Bryant against Williams at the bottom. Murray finds a little bit of a hole, gets to the 41. Jenkins makes the tackle. So Murray, of course, has always been tremendously talented. Great college career at Oklahoma, drafted in the 3rd round. And one of the reasons maybe he's playing better than ever, will probably be the rushing champ, is the fact that they've rebuilt that offensive line through the draft over the years, and he's been able to take full advantage of that, averaging over 5 yards per carry this season. Third and 5. They send 5, and the pass is caught by Witten again over the middle. So Philadelphia took Witten out of the game in Texas over Thanksgiving Day. 1 catch for 8 yards, and tonight he's already caught 2 for 38. That's good for 17 and a first down.
Check out Tyron Smith, number 77 on the outside, takes out 2 of the best pass rushers that Philadelphia has, Connor Barwin and Trent Cole on the same play. And for Jason Witten, whose numbers have been down as a receiver the last few weeks, he's off to a hot start.
Eagles show blitz. They run it to the left side again. There goes Murray, and he picks up 9. He's taken down by Casey Matthews, just short of a Dallas first down.
One of the things the Eagles want to be able to do is with their interior 3, Fletcher Cox, Benny Logan, and Cedric Thornton, is sort of create walls in here. They do not want anybody running in there. And that is exactly what happened to the Cowboys last time. This time, a much more aggressive approach, getting to the outside. Tyron Smith, nice job blocking, and the cutback lanes are created at that point.
Now the backup back, Lance Dunbar, comes into the game on 2nd and 1, and that's Dunbar with the ball, and he'll be able to pick up the first down, moving it to the 30. So with Tony Romo, we all know about the 2 small fractures in his back, the 2 back surgeries over the past year and a half. As tough as they come, missed 1 game against Arizona, then played in London, had a bye week going into the Giants game on a Sunday night, which they won, but then only 3 days rest before the Thanksgiving game. He wasn't right, the team wasn't right, but now he comes in here, Chris, on 10 days rest.
Yeah, you could watch the tape of that game and just see that he couldn't move. Didn't take his usual shot to give him some mobility, and it showed.
Dunbar stays in the game. Play fake on the end around, and Romo then just dumps it at the feet of Dunbar, and incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
One of the things that Romo wanted to try and get done in this game is, yes, they're going to be a 1st and 2nd down run team. They've been that all season long, and that has been who they are. But his feeling was, you've got to take some shots on early downs too. That's when the passing lanes are the most open. So let's not be so predictable. Let's make some plays down the field. But so far, those 1st down shots haven't been there. He's been getting it done on 3rd down.
They've been using Murray, as you say, a lot on 1st and 2nd down. So they've had fewer 3rd and shorts than any team in the league, because Murray normally puts you in a position to have a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. And now Murray again, and he spins around, and that's exactly what he will do here. He'll set you up with a 3rd and 2 with an 8-yard gain on 2nd down.
One of the things that the Philadelphia Eagles like to do with their linebackers, Casey Matthews and Michael Kendricks, is have them be very patient behind that front 3 line. And there you saw them sort of sitting back and waiting, and then when they see Murray come through there, then explode and go get him. But you have to make the tackle. So far, they've been missing the open tackles in space.
Give Murray a 7-yard gain, spotted at the 23. Another 3rd down for Dallas. The Cowboys are 3 of 3 on 3rd down to this point. Play clock at 2. And Romo will throw, and that'll be caught. And that's Witten who will have the first down. So he makes his 3rd catch of the game. Needed 3, got 4, first down Cowboys.
It's a little bit interesting in that the Philadelphia Eagles really thought that the Cowboys offense was changing a little bit. They were asking Jason Witten to block so much that he was more of a safety valve. In other words, block and then escape late. And yet here early in this biggest game of the year, it has been the Jason Witten show.
Under 6 minutes to play in the opening quarter. With Dallas on top 7-0. Murray to the outside. Can he get around the corner? He does for a gain of about 4. Cowboys made a change in the offseason. Bill Callahan had been calling the plays. The year before it had been Garrett. They go to Scott Linehan, former head coach of the Rams, and then he went to Detroit, where he was known as the passingest play caller in the league.
I asked him, I said, is it a little hard to call these runs? He said, it's a little unnatural. I've got to admit that. He said, but this is what we do best. We are built around this offensive line and DeMarco Murray, so we're staying with it.
2nd and 5. Murray's already gained 39 yards on the ground tonight. Romo to the outside, a little high, but Beasley makes the catch. Well, he's really come on. Covered there by Jenkins, and Cole Beasley will set up a 1st and goal from the 7-yard line.
Boy, what a matchup this is right here. Zach Martin, the outstanding right guard, draft choice. Fletcher Cox, who has been proven to be just a terror against the run and not bad as a pass rusher either. A lot of people think Fletcher Cox has been the best defensive line going, and Zach Martin, the Dallas Cowboys got it right with that pick.
This will be the 14th play of a drive that started at the Dallas 12. They feed Murray, and Murray gets stuffed. Fletcher Cox on cue, Chris.
Here's the problem you've got is that Fletcher Cox is so big he can go through you, but he can also go around you. Here's Zach Martin sets up and thinks he has him pinned out, and then he just whips right around him. Fletcher Cox only has 3 sacks, but he has a lot of hurries, and because of their style of play, it's not a pass rushing style, so statistically he's not going to have big numbers, But as the Eagles put anybody who plays against them, they vote them for the Pro Bowl.
And a bunch of tackles for loss. That one right there, -2, 2nd down and goal. Cowboys 5 wide. Romo with time, waiting for somebody to get open. Nobody can get open. Secondary does its work. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
Tried to get it to Dez Bryant in the back of the end zone, but when Dez stepped back, he got pushed out of bounds. So Tony Romo, despite the fact that he had all this time to throw the football, back left end zone, Dez Bryant's out of bounds and is no longer an eligible receiver. Tried to peel back on Kerry Williams, who shoved him out of bounds, and no flag, no foul.
Well, now we have a flag, but well after the play, the field judge came in through a flag.
Pass, illegal contact, defense number 26.
Yeah, that's right.
Half minutes to the goal, automatic 1st down.
And Chip Kelly saying, why you throw a flag 5 seconds after the play is over?
All right, here we go, right up here. Right before the pass, he shoves him out of bounds, obviously more than 5 yards down the field. Illegal contact, properly called.
Belatedly called, but properly called. And the crowd booing because it took about 5 seconds for that flag to come out. We were in the replay when the flag was thrown. And it sets the Cowboys up with the 1st down and goal at the 4-yard line. They've had 7 runs and 7 passes. This is play 15 of the drive. Murray to bring them down to the 3-yard line. 2nd down and goal for Dallas.
You know, it's going to be very tough to get movement from Benny Logan and Cedric Thornton and Fletcher Cox inside. Their job is to hit, make contact, extend their arms like a bench press, and sit there and watch and see, does he go to the right or left, and then shed. That time you saw Benny Logan do it perfectly.
Game is 11.5 minutes old, and Dallas has had the ball for 10 minutes. 2nd and goal. No running back in the game right now. You got Whitten in the backfield. You got a pass that Dez Bryant will haul in for a touchdown over Bradley Fletcher. So they go 88 yards, 16 plays in 8 minutes and 16 seconds.
Watch the arm extension here, but no real push. I think the official was looking closely. His arms got extended, but there was no real push that came out of it, so they let that one go. So a few close calls here. They go the Cowboys' way.
Fletcher, the guy who gets picked on most in that Philadelphia secondary. Bailey for the extra point. And the Dallas Cowboys have come roaring into Pennsylvania late in the 1st quarter and lead the Eagles 14-0. Jerry Jones is right there. Stephen Jones, his son, his daughter Charlotte flank him. Gene Jones, his wife, sitting 1 row behind. So different formation tonight for luck, I guess. And so far it's paid off.
They may never move again.
Right from the 1-yard line. This is Brad Smith who runs it back, and it gets taken down. Nice tackle by Hanna before he reaches the 20-yard line. So the Eagles have the ball for only the 2nd time and trail 14-0. Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator, was on the staff last year. Monty Kiffin was the DC. Then Monty moves upstairs. And Rod's defense, they created a 3-and-out. His team now has a 14-0 lead. And let's see what the Eagles can generate now, beginning from the 20-yard line. Sanchez hands the ball to McCoy, and he gets swallowed up before he gets to the line of scrimmage. All over him right there, number 96, Hayden. McLean comes in as well. Boy, he's made a big difference to that defense. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
Boy, this defense is playing so much more disciplined football tonight.
And McCoy, he gets taken down at the 24. That is Rolando McLean making the tackle from behind. Again, they go at warp speed. But they need a first down. That defense, their defense, has been on the field for the whole game.
This is a huge play. What we saw against Seattle for Philadelphia, if they don't make first downs on the first 3 plays that they have, they're in trouble.
And Darren Sproles is in the game. And Sanchez, he's going to get sacked at the 16-yard line.
Wow.
So a nightmare start. McLean and Jeremy Minchie converge, and that's 6 plays in less than 2 minutes, and they're going to punt again.
Little cross right here and go through. And remember, the Dallas Cowboys only have now 20 sacks on the year compared to the Eagles at 44, so a bit stunning there, but they catch them with a blitz and they win.
Now Donnie Jones with a wobbly kick, and it'll be fielded at the 40-yard line by Dwayne Harris, and he gets tackled immediately. There's a flag down on the play.
You know, Al, what was interesting is you brought that up to Jason Garrett, that his team doesn't blitz very much last night on 3rd and medium. There we were in the first real 3rd and medium. What they do, they blitz, and they come up with a sack.
Yeah, I mentioned to him last night, you guys only blitz on 3rd and medium. We got a penalty here against Philadelphia. Now we're going to see if Garrett wants to decline it. I said, you're only blitzing 7% of the time. The league average is 40%. He said, I didn't realize it was that severe.
You're coaching them up.
There
now.
you go.
I like it.
Player going out of bounds on his own on a punt. Kicking team number 11. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the play. First down, timeout.
Penalty is on Huff. 1.5 minutes to go in the quarter. 14-0 Dallas. Jason Garrett has watched his team be perfect on the road this season. 6-0, 32.2 points a game. Only Indy scoring more per game on the road. And look at Tony's numbers. 15 touchdowns, 1 interception on the road this season. And DeMarco Murray, who's been great home or road, 130 yards per game. Only Arian Foster of the Texans with more road yardage. So they start now. Joseph Randle starts at running back from the 44-yard line. So he's their number 3 guy. We've seen Dunbar, we've seen Murray. And he gets stopped at the 43. You know, we see it so often, Chris. It's 2 teams meet, and people say 17 days ago Philly killed them, so they're going to kill them again. But this is the NFL. You never know what's going to happen.
Cleveland, Cincinnati, the exact same thing. Cleveland comes to Cincinnati, knocks them off big. Cincinnati returns the favor going back the other way. So there is no such thing. Anybody that tells you they know what's happening in the NFL, just laugh at them. Nobody knows anything.
Nobody
right?
knows anything. 2nd down and 11. But it's fun to talk about it anyway. At the 43, no running backs. You go 5 wide here. Dallas spreading it out. 3-man rush. Romo throws. Beasley makes the catch. That's a first down. Takes it to the 44-yard line. Under a minute to play now in the quarter.
I'm really surprised to see the Eagles with this 3-man rush. Just these 3 guys, and we've already seen Romo just stand there basically in the pocket. And all right, I got you, but this is a team that really has been built around man coverage. They even have good nickel and dime guys. Brandon Boykins, very good, 6 interceptions a year ago. Nolan Carroll. They have the ability to play man across the board. So far, though, really hasn't been the case.
And you saw Barwin for the moment on the sideline. Randall is in the backfield. They flare him out. Romo with a pump fake, comes back the other way, and breaking off the route. The pass was incomplete, intended for Bryant. And the crowd wants an intentional grounding call. Here's McCauley. Looked like he was ready to open up his mic.
Yeah, Des Bryant basically wheeled and was going up the field. Romo threw it outside.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would have been intentional grounding when I first looked at it, but this crowd's getting a little restless, and well, they should.
They'll take anything. Play clock at 2. Going to draw. Randall, Joseph Randall to the 30-yard line. That kid with a lot of talent. Drafted in the 5th round out of Oklahoma State. That's a first down, and that takes us to the end of the quarter. Totally dominated by the Dallas Cowboys. 14-0 is the score, and Sunday Night Football from Philly back after this. 14-0 Dallas, and the Cowboys on a first down here. Murray, that's his 11th carry of the game to the 25. So how did things start tonight? Here's a look back.
Well, look at Brad Smith on this one, the up back right there, pointing to Josh Huff in the back of the end zone, basically saying that ball is yours. And Josh Huff said, "Are you kidding me? That thing's 30 yards away. It's not like the old days where I'm standing on the goal line. I am 10 yards back there." He knew he couldn't get there, and he was anticipating Brad Smith would.
It was not a typo. 132 yards to 0 net. Flag is thrown here. Murray to the outside. He gets taken down by the safety Malcolm Jenkins. Penalty is against Dallas.
Holding, offense number 88, excuse me, number 82. 10-yard penalty, second down.
That's Witten. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, Eagles linebacker Casey Matthews collided with teammate Nolan Carroll a few plays ago. He went to the bench, had a brief conversation with the medical staff on the sideline, and then eventually went to the locker room without his helmet. He's being evaluated for a head injury, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. That's Emmanuel Acho, number 51. Third-year guy out of Texas, came over in a trade with Cleveland.
And it's significant because D'Amico Ryans was their linebacker there. He got hurt. So Casey Matthews came in. Both were the signal callers. Now they're 3 deep in that position.
Here's Beasley, and Beasley takes it to the 25-yard line. That's 5 yards short of the first. Boykin makes the tackle and sets them up for a 3rd down and 5, and the Cowboys are 4 for 4 on 3rd down tonight.
Well, Des Bryant, pretty good receiver, but on these quick screens, he's almost more valuable as a blocker because he's big and he's strong, and then you can allow Cole Beasley to run the football behind him.
Number 1 in the league on 3rd down. We mentioned before, when you got a guy like Murray, he sets you up in a lot of 3rd and shorts. And right now they have a 3rd down and 5 from the 25. And a whistle before the snap. He's got action up front. Tyron Smith of the Cowboys, false start.
Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So 2 penalties on the series here, and it's 3rd down and 10 now.
Yeah, and it's significant because they're at that long range field goal range here. So you certainly don't want any part of a sack here. You don't make sure you get this 3-point opportunity out of it.
Romo coming up a lot with 5 wide, and he does it again. Play clock under 5. 4-man rush, and this time they get to him at the 38-yard line. Fletcher, Cox, there's another flag that came in at the end of the play, just after the play. Flag in the secondary down to the 23-yard line.
It's a huge call. If it's on the defense, it's a 1st down. If not, they're out of field goal range.
Illegal contact. Defense number 26. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's Cary Williams. That turns a 4th and 18 and out of field goal range into a 1st down.
Cary Williams wants to be physical. It's his nature. He's very good at it. Unfortunately, in this game thus far, that's legal, that's legal. Once you get down the field, they're going to say that's illegal. And here's a guy that's fired up. You're playing in a big game. You want to get after people, and the rules are not going to allow him to do it. And that's his 2nd penalty of the night.
1st down out the 25-yard line. Now out of a more conventional set. Murray to the short side of the field, runs out of room at the line of scrimmage. Williams is there. That'll make it 2nd down and 10. Well, in the 3 games that Chip Kelly has head coached in this series, 2-1 record against Romo. Only 1 touchdown has Tony thrown with 4 picks coming in, and they've limited Murray to a very pedestrian 3.3 yards per carry. It's Bill Davis, the defensive coordinator, but tonight 141 yards to nothing so far for the Dallas Cowboys, who have owned the football, and now before 2nd down and 10.
Charge timeout.
And the play clock rolling down. Dallas will take a timeout 3 minutes into the 2nd quarter. Now you've got Matthews coming back to the bench. So a good sign, as he obviously had to be cleared back there.
kind of a remarkable story, isn't it, about Tony Romo and what he has to do to get that back ready. He goes out for pregame warm-up and then goes back into the locker room, and he gets an injection at that point in his back. He said it takes about 30 minutes for it to kick in. But can you imagine, he was describing it, and obviously if you've been through some of those procedures, they put the needle in and then they sort of twist it around at different angles. And Tony said the guy does like play-by-play on it. He says, all right, we're going here and we're going to do this. He says, I don't need to know. Just do it.
Stop it. Highest passer rating, Aaron Rodgers right now. You know, he lost today at Buffalo. Go figure that one out. Romo would be number 2 at 2nd down and 10 after the timeout. And Romo going deep, and there's Bryant. Touchdown. Dez Bryant gets free down the sideline for the touchdown.
When you're in bump and run coverage, it all happens at the line of scrimmage. You win or you lose at the line of scrimmage. Right there, Bradley Fletcher does not get his hands on Dez Bryant, then hesitates at the top end of that route. Protection was rock solid there. Guy with a bad back, you don't want to see him on his back. And so far tonight, this offensive line's been pretty good.
They go Fletcher's way again. 6 more points, make it 7. Bailey for the extra point, 26 yards. 2nd touchdown for Bryant. And the Dallas Cowboys are up by 3 touchdowns. Nick Foles, who was the starting quarterback until he broke his collarbone in Houston on the sideline. We have to wait to see when he's ready to come back. Huff from the goal line. And Wilcox is the first guy to hit him. A flag is down on the run back. For the moment, out of bounds at the 26-yard line.
During the return, holding receiving team number 23. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So it falls out. Mark Sanchez, and you know about Mark and his years with the Jets, selected 5th overall in 2009. Sanchez, he was known there, started the AFC Championship games as a rookie and a 2nd-year guy. He won 4 playoff games. Then he missed the entire 2013 season with a shoulder injury. 3-2 as the Eagles starting quarterback. They let him go in March. He signs here. Philly let Mike Vick go, and he signed with the Jets. And here's Sanchez. 1 career win when trailing by 14 or more. And we actually did that game. And he rolls to his left and throws, and at least they get something started here. They had 0 net yards to this point as Selleck makes the catch, and it's a gain of about 5.
Well, Sanchez played very well in the first Dallas game. He had 20 for 29, 217, 102 rating. Everything was great in that one.
And he slings it to the left side. That's juggled, and no. Riley Cooper did not have control of it. Sterling Moore covering on the play, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 5. And Philadelphia is on the cusp right now of a 3rd consecutive 3-and-out.
Yeah, and I know Chip Kelly doesn't care about time of possession, but when it's 15 minutes to 3 minutes, that's a bit of a problem. And you keep going 3-and-out, it's a real problem.
Sanchez brings Selleck into the backfield as protection. He stays in the block, gives Mark a little time. He throws, and they finally get a 1st down as Sproles makes the catch. So Sproles flares out, the former Charger and Saint. First year here, Hitchens makes the stop, 1st down.
Right there's Darren Sproles, and you just wonder how much the New Orleans Saints miss that guy. We were talking to Phillip Rivers in San Diego, and I said, do you think they miss him a little bit? He said, they miss him. I miss him in San Diego. What are you talking about?
Rivers and Breeze can commiserate.
Yeah.
From the 32, play action. That buys Sanchez a ton of time. And then the pass is a little high and incomplete, but catchable. Josh Huff couldn't haul it in. The rookie out of Oregon. Played there for Chip Kelly.
Oh, boy, they had that. They're going to bootleg this way and throw back that way, and it's wide open. You just can't miss this one. Just a great play design. Freebie.
Second and 10, inside handoff, Sproles. Burrows to the 35-yard line, 3rd and long, 3rd down and 7 now for Philadelphia.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez said he'd never run the read option in his life before he got here, and Coach Kelly keeps telling me how easy it is. It's not easy, because the back doesn't know if he's going to get the ball or not.
They ran it over 30 times in that win on Thanksgiving over the Cowboys. Here comes the blitz. Sanchez hangs in there, fires, caught. First down, Selleck over the middle to tight end. Moves the ball into Dallas territory to the 42-yard line.
A lot of zone defense out of the Cowboys, and Selleck just gets right in the middle of the zone, and that's a throw Sanchez needed to make. And right now, Orlando Scandrick is down on the field, and one of the things that people do, whether this is the case here or not, when an offense gets going, they will have an injury, real or otherwise, slow down the pace. Doesn't cost you a timeout.
And of course the crowd knowing what's going on. Vocal, there's Scandrick, so does he get hurt?
He was a long way from where they were going to snap that ball. Who knows? It's it's a hand. It's not like, I'm going to guess it's not going to be the 4th quarter, but who knows?
No.
Could be, who knows?
I'm saying
60-40?
12%.
Okay.
I'm going 12-88 from the 42-yard line. Here's McCoy with a big hole, and McCoy takes it to the 29-yard line. Stopped there by J.J. Wilcox, another first down.
This is one of those, watch Sanchez go left, back right, and then Sproles goes back left again, or LaShawn McCoy on that one. That is a play that has given the Cowboys issues in the past and continues. And now you're getting McCoy going. And this is what happened the last time. It was McCoy who got going, and then the bootlegs and the play action off of that.
Right, they snapped this one 12 seconds after the last play. And now you got McCoy, but he's going to get stuffed, and now a 3rd down and short coming up.
Well, that's one of those read options maybe Mark Sanchez should have kept. Let's see what happens if he holds on to this one right here. So
there's a late flag here at the 23-yard line. It would be pending a 3rd down and 2. Meanwhile,
2 fouls on the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 18, defense number 39. The foul's offset, 3rd down.
Macklin and Carr, and good news, of course, Scandrick didn't need to be hospitalized. He's back in the game.
That is very good news. And there's Macklin down the field, and Carr, that's right at the 5 yards, and he said that's fine.
So it's 3rd down and 2. And Sanchez will throw, and that's a first down. A flag is thrown, however, as Zach Ertz, the number 2 tight end, takes the ball to the 5-yard line. Flag is down at the 10-yard line on the near side.
Defense number 39. Penalties decline. First down.
And that's Brandon Carr. So back-to-back fouls on him.
Here's the read option pass now. They come over, and Mark Sanchez is not going to run this one. He's going to throw it. That is an alternative option, and one really that Nick Foles does more of, because he's not quite the runner that even Sanchez is. Now they're starting to look like the Philadelphia Eagles a little bit.
This will be the 11th play of a drive, 4 runs, 6 passes. Started back at their own 16. With Chris Polk in the game in the backfield. And they give it to him, and he's going to take it into the end zone on his first carry of the night. Chris Polk for the touchdown.
What a block here by Evan Mathis. Welcome back after the knee injury. Watch this one right here. Come out, secure the first one, take out Rolando McClain, walk-in touchdown for Chris Polk. So one thing about the Philadelphia Eagles, it ain't over. They can score in a hurry, and this Cowboys defense can give up a few too.
The rookie Cody Parkey for the extra point. They go 84 yards. It only takes them 3 minutes and 24 seconds to get back in the game. 21-7 Cowboys. The football at Lincoln Financial Field. Dwayne Harris from 4 yards deep. Breaks a tackle and gets hogtied at the 27-yard line. Well, that offensive line has done such a great job protecting Romo and Murray, so they get a little bit of love. Tony sends them all Louis Vuitton travel bags.
Yeah, better than that, they get gifts.
Right.
Hold the love. Give me something.
Yeah.
That's the way the offensive linemen work.
They're sending the Air Jordans, iMac computers from DeMarco Murray. Good to be an offensive lineman. Except when the referee says holding number 72.
They have been terrific, and combined with DeMarco Murray, it's not a fast group. The Philadelphia Eagles have the fast offensive line, the athletic. This is much more of a power group from the Cowboys.
Hannah now sets up as the tight end on the right side. Murray is the running back from the 27-yard line. And carries for the 13th time, but not very far. Cedric Thornton, big number 72, comes up with the ball, but the play is dead. We go to Michelle.
Hey, Al, I asked Tyron Smith about those gifts, starting with the shoes from Des Bryant. He said everyone loves Jordans. He called the Louis Vuitton travel bags from Romo, quote, really useful. And he said when DeMarco Murray gave them the IMAX, he thought, wow, he's really looking out for us.
But good to be a Dallas Cowboy offensive lineman these days, because that was such a problem area for them over the past few years, where they went to the draft and got Frederick and got Martin and Tyron Smith, and now they're in the elite category. 2nd and 8. Romo throws. That's caught for a first down by Witten. Forward progress will net him the first, and Witten, who only caught 1 ball in the Thanksgiving Day game, has now caught 4 tonight for 51 yards.
Yeah, and the matchup's starting to be favorable now. They're able to work against Casey Matthews inside, and the veteran Jason Witten is just sort of working the middle of the field. And obviously Matthews had to go out for a period of time, but if they can get matched up on that other linebacker, Michael Kendrick's very athletic. D'Amico Ryans was a great leader in there. But coverage-wise, that's the weakness for Matthews and Manuacho.
Every one of Witten's catches tonight resulted in the first down. Matthews is in the game now for Philadelphia. Into the 41-yard line goes Murray. Tackled there by Kendricks. You know, Murray, he's going to break Emmitt Smith's record unless he gets hurt. Cowboy record. He's on a pace to get 2,000 yards. He'd need 3 phenomenal games, about 160 plus per game, to beat Eric Dickerson's mark. Averages 5 yards a carry. But, you know, if he has a huge night tonight, he already has 47 yards. Next week, Indianapolis, a team that gave up 200 to Jonas Gray against New England. The last game is against Washington. Who knows? 2nd and 6. Give it to Lance Dunbar. And Dunbar spinning around close to a first down.
Really, it's really started with these two in here and some of their combination blocks. Travis Frederick, a big, strong guy. We saw it last week in the Bears game, just driving off the ball together. But those two young players, very bright guys, able to work together. They haven't made the big mistakes that young players tend to make. And, of course, Tyron Smith, the hammer over at the left tackle position. The one to watch tonight where they had the issue in the last game is Ronald Leary had a tough time with Fletcher Cox inside. See if they keep trying to get that matchup.
3rd and 1, and Romo has to take a timeout because that play clock was down to 1. So Tony to the bench. 3rd down and 1 when we come back to the link. Front right is Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the team. Mrs. Lurie, Tina. 2 removed, and in the middle is Bradley Cooper with the Eagles cap. Huge Philadelphia fan. Jeffrey telling us yesterday Cooper will call from Europe, wherever he is. Catches every Eagles game, but tonight not a lot of joy to this point. We'll see if the Eagles can get off the field finally on a 3rd down, 3rd and 1 here. Romo, the play fake, and Romo's going to go down to the 43-yard line. Connor Barwin will come in for the sack, and that'll be 14.5 sacks for Barwin.
First the coverage down the field. Tried to go a little double move from Des Bryant, but it is the guy with now 14.5 sacks on the season, Connor Barwin, who comes in and makes another huge play. And it looks like the momentum is starting to shift a little bit back towards the Eagles here.
First time they've been held. The Cowboys have been held on third down tonight. Here's the punt by Chris Jones. And that will be spotted out of bounds. Ooh, boy, all the way up there. Short kick. Wow. Out of bounds up near the 30-yard line. Philly with the ball down by 14. Well, this is what Chip Kelly did at Oregon. Ran that fast-paced offense here since he took over. 23.5 seconds per play, fastest in the league. 20 or more yards on plays, 160. That's the tops. Rushing yards per game, second. Points per game, fourth. So they went to Eugene, Oregon. Got Kelly after he had recently said he didn't want the job. Then he came back, thought about it again, and time for the NFL. Second year in the league, and we'll see his offense trying to get back in the game now as McCoy dances around but can only gain a yard or two. Barry Church comes up to make the stop. And back they come to the line of scrimmage as quickly as they can.
And the question is always, can they get the first down? They hadn't all night, didn't have anything going. Get one first down to start that last drive and go right down the field.
2nd and 8. And to the outside after the good play fake, and then a hurdle for a first down. Zach Ertz. And that gets the crowd excited.
Everybody knows what's going to happen when the tight end catches the ball. The cornerback is not big. He's going to go after his knees, so more and more of these tight ends are going, Little Skeets Nehemiah.
Went over Brandon Carr playing the human hurdle there. And Macklin makes the catch. And Macklin, their #1 receiver, having a career year. And that's the first catch for him tonight.
Actually has better numbers than does Des Bryant, but who would have calculated that? Each at 10 touchdowns.
At the Cowboy 49. Room for McCoy. And he gets taken down. Wilcox comes up to make the stop. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
Say this offensive line is getting going. They are so excited to have Jason Kelsey and Evan Mathis back in the lineup. Sean McCoy telling us we can do without anybody, but Jason Kelsey, the center, is the brains of the operation, and he pulls better than any center that's playing in football.
2nd and 3. McCoy again swings to the outside. McLean can't stop him. He gets around the corner and picks up the first down.
Rolando McLean, if he has an issue, and he wants to go up there high and make those tackles, and that's when he misses.
McLean at 6'4". The linebacker, and Sproles gets tripped up by McLean, number 97. Terrell McLean. 2nd down.
Well, Terrell McLean inside, they felt the one advantage they had on Jason Kelsey was they could put McLean right on the nose of the center Kelsey and take advantage physically with his size.
14 seconds in. Pass over the middle. It's Selleck again down the seam for a first down to the 26-yard line.
Obviously, the other advantage you have when you're going this fast on offense, but now because Selleck is a bit banged up, they make a substitution, so the Cowboys could sub here, and they would have held that snap.
Right, Ertz comes in, right side. Line goes to the left, play goes to the right, and it's dropped by Jordan Matthews, the rookie out of Vanderbilt, 2nd-round draft choice.
Little read option once again, read option pass. This time try and get it down the field. I tell you, Jordan Matthews has had such a big year for this team. Missed an opportunity there.
Caught 56 passes this season. 2nd down and 10 now from the 26-yard line. 2:19 remaining in the half. Set up a screen, but Sproles can go nowhere. Pressure was on that time. Bruce Carter winds up making the tackle. And that's going to make it 3rd down and 13, and will take us to the 2-minute warning.
Another blitz there. Orlando Scandrick coming hard off the slot. A little more aggressive tonight out of Rod Marinelli.
2 minutes to the half. 21-7 Dallas on Sunday Night Football. From the 29 now, it's 3rd and 13. Sanchez rolling, throwing, and then he has to dump it out of bounds. So he extended the play, he bought time, but it's 4th down, and you'd be looking at about a 46-yard field goal here.
I don't know what Sanchez was doing there. That was clearly another one of those sort of throwback plays they were going to try back to the other side, and he scrambled right, and there wasn't one receiver on that half of the field.
So Cody Parkey, a rookie, picked him up in a trade in preseason from the Colts. Played his college ball at Auburn. This is a 47-yard attempt. Into 10 miles an hour, and Parkey's kick is just good. Inside the left upright. 1:48 to go in the half. It's an 11-point game. Lincoln Financial Field. So many years Eagles played at Veterans Stadium, about 3 decades there. Before that, Franklin Field on the campus of the University of Pennsylvania. Tony Romo ready to lead the Dallas Cowboys back out after they had a 21-0 lead that's now turned into 21-10. From the 5-yard line, Dwayne Harris. And Harris is going to get taken down back at the 10, so the coverage is great. Chris Persinski is there to make the tackle with 1:43 left.
Well, there was a lot of conversation. The Cowboys were going to take a defensive player. All 3 they wanted were gone, so they settled on Zach Martin, who's only turned out to be one of the top guards in all of football so far this season. And there also was a little conversation. It might have been Johnny Manziel who made his debut as a starter today. That didn't go so well, so I think they're feeling pretty strong about Zach Martin, who has completed this offensive line.
Lance Dunbar starts at running back from the 11-yard line. Cowboys with 1:43 have already used 2 timeouts, so 1 remains. And the crowd exhorting their Eagles. They would love to see a 3-and-out, but here goes Dunbar, and Dunbar doing some nice running so far tonight up to the 18-yard line, making it 2nd down and 3.
You know, Dunbar is a nice change of pace back, usually used as a receiver more than a runner. But there they saw him backed up and handed him the ball.
2nd and 3, and Romo throws, and that's caught. And taken down at the 29-yard line is Terrence Williams.
As important as anything was getting a few first downs and getting out of that hole. You certainly didn't want to put that Eagles offense back out on the field again.
Right, had you had a 3rd down there, Philadelphia probably would have taken a timeout on defense. Can't think about that now. You throw it underneath. That is caught there by Lance Dunbar. Takes it out to the 35-yard line. 52 seconds and ticking down. Dallas conserving its final timeout.
We've seen this Dallas offensive line, and occasionally gives Romo 6, 7, 8 seconds to throw the football.
2nd and 4. Romo throws. Beasley makes the catch, and Beasley tries to get out of bounds and does at the 47-yard line to stop the clock with 33 seconds.
Cole Beasley, 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games, and really has opened up some opportunities. Maybe part of the reason that Jason Witten and Terrence Williams are catching more balls. Beasley in that slot has drawn a lot of attention now, and now there's a little more balance across the board on who's getting the ball down the field.
Numbers for Romo on the 300-yard pace. 2 touchdown passes, both going Bryant's way. There's Beasley on Boykin out of the slot. Romo to Witten. He gets taken out of bounds. That play only took 4 seconds. It'll be 2nd down and 7 at the 50-yard line.
Well, here comes Kendricks right here up on the blitz. Actually bring a couple of guys, and Romo, I'm not sure he could have done this on Thanksgiving. What do you think, Al? He wasn't, his mobility was not at its best, but now they're blitzing inside to see what happens when he moves. and able to move just enough to get that completion.
Not on 3 days rest without an injection, that's for sure. Took 7 days rest before the Chicago game and pitching on 10 days rest tonight. 2nd and 7. And Romo throws, caught over the middle. Beasley, flag is thrown though. Beasley to the 42-yard line. So the flag stops the clock.
Holding.
22
seconds. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on Doug Free.
It's more of the old style Philadelphia Eagles defense here. They flanked Vinnie Curry way out here, this old wide 9, and as Curry tried to turn the corner, it's a close call. He sort of just pushed him down. It almost looked like Curry was losing his footing a little bit. We've had a few close ones in here, and that one went against the Cowboys.
So 2nd down and 17, well out of field goal range here. We do have a timeout. They will get the second half kickoff, the Cowboys will. But the Philly won the toss deferred and then botched the opening kickoff. And Romo under pressure. Signals deep downfield and then throws out of bounds. And the clock is stopped with 15 seconds.
All the matchups across the board. Terry Williams out there on Dez. Scramble drill starts there. And here's the coverage on Witten down the field, and Witten threw that hook out there to signal to his quarterback, but really he wasn't open enough for Romo to move to his left and flip back around and make that completion.
3rd and 17. Romo has that timeout so we can use all of the field. 3-man rush. Looking down the middle. Now running. And throws in
beyond the line.
He's beyond the line of scrimmage to top it off. Lost it down. Williams is also down for the moment. It's only about 2 or 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. The line was the 40. If they decline the penalty, you put Dallas in a position where at least they're going to have to punt it.
Illegal forward pass. Quarterback was beyond the line. Number 9. 5-yard penalty. Loss of down. 4th down. Philadelphia declines the 10-second runoff. 4th down.
Right, because the 10-second runoff takes us to halftime. This way, at least they force them into a punt.
And here's the standard. That back foot, if it had been on the line, would have been legal. Plus, you got Darren Sproles, who is one of the top punt returners in all of football. 2 touchdowns already and leads the NFL in punt return average. So I guarantee you he doesn't touch the ball here.
If I'm Dallas, I just tell Jones, kick it out of bounds anywhere. That'll take 6 seconds.
That's what they did the last time. It wasn't much of a punt, but at least they didn't kick it to him.
And Williams hobbles off. Or do you put a punt block on here?
Rich Bisacci, the special teams coach.
Good one.
Yep, sure is.
And Jones is going to get it away. And Sproles is just going to let it bounce. And that's going to bounce out of bounds and take us to halftime with the score. Dallas 21 and Philadelphia 10. And down in the end zone is Harris.
Well, for Dez Bryant, he has been involved in a few plays even before the game. Malcolm Jenkins, a little jawing going on there, but he's been working on the outside against Bradley Fletcher with great success. And you have to remember that it was Kerry Williams' 2 fouls that kept alive the 2 touchdown drives for the Dallas Cowboys as well. So both corners have had a big role here in the first half of this one.
And let's see what Romo decides to do here on this drive in the 3rd quarter. They've had good balance to this point. We start with Murray, the league's leading rusher for a gain of 5 to the 25, and we check in with Michelle.
Well, Chip Kelly told me he thought they did a pretty good job defending Dallas's run, but they've got to stop Jason Witten on third down. He converted 3 of them, and also they need to sustain drives offensively. As for Jason Garrett, he thought they kept up with Philadelphia's pace pretty well. He said they just plan to mix it up more defensively here in the second half.
All right, thank you, Michelle. They, according to Kelly, did a pretty good job on Murray. They have 15 carries, 51 yards, so he's averaging about 3.5 per tote. And here he goes again, and this time to get bottled up again. So doing a good job on the Dallas run game. We've got Parnell in at right tackle. Number 78, yeah, for free.
Yeah, they have rotated in the past. I don't know if that's what's going on here or if something happened to Doug Free, but Jeremy Parnell has plenty of experience in this offense at right tackle.
Free missed 3 games earlier this season with a foot injury. 3rd down and 6 now, and get a flag was the Eagles came across Vinnie Curry.
False start, offense number 83. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
But he was drawn off because Terrence Williams was the first to move. Parks about it.
And I don't know that Vinnie Curry saw Terrence Williams on the outside, but so he just got saved.
Yeah, he did.
Terrence Williams flinched. Kerry Williams helped. Vinnie Curry no way saw that. So Tony Romo got everybody on that one.
Makes it a 3rd down and 11 from the 19-yard line. Dime defense for Philadelphia. 6 DBs in the game. They rush 4. Romo is going to go deep downfield, and there's contact and a flag. 2 flags, in fact. Terrence Williams, Kerry Williams was back there covering.
Foul number 3.
Yep, and it's going to be defensive pass interference.
Defense number 26. Automatic 1st down.
All he has to do is get his head around, and he could have made the play on the ball. Would not have been interference. He was in great position.
From the defense number 23, and that penalty's declined.
Down the field, just turn your head around here. You can have contact at that point, but if the head's not around, you're not allowed to do that. Good call by the officials.
So a 3rd down and 11 becomes a 40-yard penalty.
Well, I tell you, it has kept alive 2 touchdown drives already, and who knows, this could be a 3rd.
From the Philly 41-yard line now. Harris goes in motion. Bryant was wide left. Murray, and they bottle him up again for a loss, and check in once more with Michelle.
Well, Doug Free, as you mentioned, is not in on the game right now. He is questionable with a right ankle injury. He's on the sidelines without a helmet, heavily taped around that ankle, and you know, limping quite a bit, Al. So right now, not in there.
There he is. We saw him on the sideline, Michelle. So Parnell is in there. Parnell, a 5th-year guy out of Mississippi. At right tackle. Murray tried to go that way to no avail on that last run. 2nd down and 11. Romo under pressure. They get to him. Just got enough of him to knock him down, take him down to the 50-yard line for the sack.
Well, we talked about Fletcher Cox a little bit earlier in this game, and going through both Parnell and Zach Martin here, doesn't get there, but forces Tony Romo to step up, and when he does, he trips over his own man and sort of auto sacks himself on Tyrone Smith.
They're going to give the sack to Thornton. A bit of a gift, but he'll take it. And it makes it 3rd down and 19. Play clock at 1. Romo deep and pushing again. Is there a flag? Yes, there is.
Other way.
That's Kerry Williams on Terrence Williams.
I think that one might be on Terrence Williams.
Pass interference, offense number 83. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Good job of officiating there. That time completely opposite of what Kerry Williams had done in the past. Gets his head around. Terrence Williams tried to push him off and got caught. Really not a bad effort by Terrence Williams. Why not? You're sitting out there and 3rd and 1,000,000 and almost, you never know. Sometimes you get away with it.
Now 4th and 1,000,000, 4th and 19. Chris Jones. High angled kick. Fair catch called for and made by Sproles at the 14. 11.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Dallas by 11. Philadelphia with its first possession of the 2nd half, starting from the 14-yard line. And it's a 2-yard gain for LaShawn McCoy. 2nd and 8.
See how the play calling works. Chip Kelly into Mark Sanchez, and then it's all the individual coaches to their individual positions so they can go this fast.
And McCoy will take it to the 19-yard line. One more time. Bruce Carter makes the stop. 3rd down.
So Chip Kelly's ready right away, but here he needs to make a substitution, which is going to allow the Cowboys. So you'll see the umpire now hold the snap. He will hold the snap, see if the Cowboys want to substitute. They do not. So they're ready for play.
They stay with the base defense. Sproles comes in for the Eagles. It's 3rd down and 5 from the 19-yard line. Macklin comes in motion to the inside. Sanchez throws, and that is caught for a 1st down. What Carter gambled on it, tried to cut in front and pick it, or at least deflect it. Instead, it's a 1st down to Macklin.
And Bruce Carter was right there. If he reaches over and touches him in there. Oh, he does. Right there, the ball is going to be down. I thought it might have been short, but just enough.
Only Macklin's 2nd catch of the night for 16 yards. He's their leading receiver. And Sanchez fires over the middle low and incomplete. Flag is down. Intended receiver was Macklin.
Yeah, Barry Church going to get called for a hold. This is like
holding. Defense number 42. 5-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Well, we've seen 3 penalties on Kerry Williams tonight. That is the first penalty on Church all season.
Gets his arms wrapped around. Good call by the officials. This is like an old school football game. This is the way the game used to be played, when you could be a little physical down the field.
Moving out to the parking lot. McCoy tries to dance around and gets smothered by Terrell McLean.
It's going to be interesting to see if the league makes any adjustments to that 5-yard bump rule in the offseason, because boy, we have sure seen a lot of those flags this season.
Probably too many.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Comes the pace of the game. 2nd down and 11. And that pass is overthrown and incomplete. Brandon Carr covering Macklin. You see that card that there is. We asked Chip Kelly, what does S8 mean? What does it mean? He wouldn't give it up.
No.
We even asked Sanchez. He doesn't know what it means.
He didn't know. So it's obviously not part of the game planning, and it changes. It's not the same every year. Kids for Halloween, they take S8 to the Halloween party.
Crazy. 3rd and 11. Sanchez able to step up to buy time, and then hits Macklin down the sideline. Macklin running free. Tries to get by Wilcox with a block from Matthews, and then into the end zone he goes. Did he get in? They're going to rule him down at the 1-yard line.
Wow, that ball came out too, and it was close. They're marking it down.
It's 72 yards. Philadelphia doesn't want Dallas to have the opportunity to challenge, so they race down to the field. They race down, and
he was down. There's the challenge flag.
Right, it comes down, but did he get it out in time? And the official coming in saying, yes, he did. There, so Garrett waiting for something from upstairs. Meanwhile, they sprinted down the field 70 yards to the Eagles to try to get the play off before it could even be challenged.
At first look, I thought his knee was down.
At 72 yards on a 3rd and 12.
There's the elbow down. He's reaching. He is down right there. The only question at that point is, was it a touchdown or not?
Dallas's challenge that the runner fumbled, and they clearly recovered. Timeout.
Well, they did, but we think he was down at the 1 yard line. And it should be a 1st and goal when we come back.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner was down by contact. Dallas is charged with their first team timeout.
Elbow was down. The only thing they could have overturned on that, they could have called it a touchdown.
Right, but by sprinting down the field, the Philadelphia Eagles now force Jason Garrett to use one of his timeouts, which could come back to haunt later.
No doubt. So he's clearly down. It could have been the double whammy. They lose the challenge, and it could have been a touchdown. There's Carr. Can't get his right hand in there, and Macklin's off to the races for 72.
Brandon Carr has not had a good year, and he is a big money cornerback for the Cowboys.
Chris Polk is the running back. He's already scored a touchdown tonight and make it a pair. Touchdown Eagles. $17 unanswered points. That is after the extra point upcoming. It's going to make it a 4-point game after the conversion.
Jason Peters right there, just wiping down the entire side of the line of scrimmage. Big, strong, physical, and boy, I tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys don't even want to think about blowing a 21-point lead to their arch rivals in this kind of December situation.
Parkey's extra point good. 8:48 to go in the third. Dallas by 4. We'll run back here to the 16-yard line by Dwayne Harris. Back we go to the pass to Macklin.
Mark Sanchez, watch him. He's going to glance right, see what he has with Macklin, come back, square up the safety, now go back there for the big touchdown. And for Brandon Carr in a zone defense, you cannot undercut that play unless you are 100% sure that you're going to get there, because there's nobody left. The entire side of the field is gone. You're the deep third there. You cannot take that chance unless you are positive you're going to get the ball.
If you joined us late, it was 21-0 Dallas. The Eagles have scored 17 unanswered points. And we've got some ball game. Romo escapes a would-be sack, throws, caught on the outside by Hanna. And the number 3 tight end, gain of 12. Fletcher Cox put the heat on Romo, but Tony escaped that time. First down.
That is Tony Romo at his finest right there. This is what he can do. Comes completely unblocked. Their best interior pass rusher, Fletcher Cox, he spins out of it, and instead of a 10-yard sack and maybe a fumble, they pick up a first down.
Spinning against the grain as he's done so magnificently through his career from the 27-yard line. And flags before the start for a false start.
False start. Offense number 9. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Romo himself coming out before the snap.
Boy, this is just setting up, isn't it? These two arch rivals, and to have the Cowboys out to a 21-0 lead. In the newspaper today, in the Philadelphia Inquirer, there was a Romo action figure cartoon. It said, "Warning, choking hazard," in the cartoon. You know Romo saw it.
How sweet.
Yeah.
1st and 15 from the 22. Murray tackled in the backfield. Malcolm Jenkins. Safety coming up.
Malcolm Jenkins has just become such an important part of this defense. When D'Amico Ryans, their main signal caller, went out, he became the de facto leader of this defensive team. He's the guy that gets them set. He's the guy that's forced into tough man coverage situations. That he has been a major factor. He is one of the first guys they point to as far as valuable guys on this defense.
2nd and 19. Going 5 wide here. Did this a lot in the first half. Romo throwing, and that will be incomplete. Intended for Williams, and he was covered by Cary Williams. So Terrence can't handle it. 3rd down and 19 next.
Yeah, I asked Romo, why haven't you thrown more balls to Terrence Williams lately? And he said he hasn't been open. And on 3rd down and on big downs, I go to Jason Witten, and I go to Cole Beasley, and I go to the guys I can trust. But right now, Cary Williams, after a tough first half, is coming up big here in the second.
7 minutes left in the 3rd. Third and 19. 3-man rush. Gives Romo a ton of time. Look out from behind.
Ball's out.
Goes balls out at the 14-yard line. Is it a live ball? Yes. Vinny Curry came from behind. The sack fumble and the Philadelphia recovery.
You got to wonder, is the tuck rule in play here? Never saw him. Tony Romo tries to pull that down. Does it come all the way back into his body?
It's automatically reviewed because it's a turnover. Fletcher Cox comes up with a recovery.
Romo had at least 6-7 seconds, and nobody could get open down the field.
He's brought the ball back to his body, and therefore it is a fumble, so that is confirmed. And the ball at the 14. Now Sanchez asked for quiet and hands the ball off to McCoy, who takes the ball inside the 10. Flag down. He's down at the 8-yard line.
After the play, personal foul and necessary roughness. Defense number 97. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Terrell McLean.
Play is clearly over there, and McLean comes over, and the official couldn't miss it because the player was knocked into him. Wow, what a turnaround this has been. And it looks like the Cowboys are just unraveling here.
So 1st and goal at the 4. McCoy with an escort and gets banged out of bounds just short of the goal line. For the moment, Anthony Hitchens is there to save the touchdown.
Well, that looked like it was going to be a walk-in, didn't it? And then Anthony Hitchens, the young rookie who has been so effective playing all 3 linebacker positions, gets there just in time.
Makes it a 2nd down and goal. Now you've got McCoy and Sproles both in the game. Here comes Sproles into the backfield. Sproles has the ball to the outside. He goes. Touchdown, Eagles.
How about this one? Watch LaShawn McCoy lead block. He's a fullback now. He was the leading rusher in the league last year. You say, why can't you play LaShawn McCoy and Darren Sproles in the backfield together? Well, neither one of them are going to block. LaShawn McCoy just laid a heck of a block on the edge there.
Sproles with his 6th rushing touchdown. Curry with a discus throw with the ice. A 21-point deficit has turned into a 3-point lead for the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. A little bit of a happier scene in owner Jeffrey Lurie's box. At one point, 21-0 Dallas, now 24-21 Philadelphia, and the run back here to the 22-yard line for Dwayne Harris. Tony Romo led that long drive earlier, and of course it's a different story with Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey, who is a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan, to the consternation of John Mara and Jeff Lurie and everybody else on both sides of the Garden State. Line. The Dallas Cowboys trailing for the first time in the game, and this is Murray, and all night long they've done a magnificent job on Murray. He's now carried the ball a total of 19 times for 47 yards, so that's less than 3 yards per carry.
Starting to get back to the way the first game was, and really since Doug Free went out of the game, we have not seen whatever success they had running the football to that right side. It has been tough sledding since.
Five minutes to play in the third. Second down and 9. Romo fires over the middle, caught at the 40-yard line. Dez Bryant, who has scored 2 touchdowns tonight, takes the ball out to the 45-yard line.
Nice route by Dez Bryant down the field. They've got Kendrick sitting in here in the middle of the field as a lurker. They threw right over the top of him. Dez has been getting a lot of double coverage tonight, but now when everything is on the line and your team is struggling, you go back to your superstars, and that's Dez Bryant.
That time he lined up to the right. Now he comes into the slot on the left. Eagles show blitz. They're coming. Romo gets it away. That's caught by Witten. And Witten will pick up a first down. That's an 11-yard gain to the 44-yard line.
That was Michael Kendricks that came on the blitz and got a good shot on Romo. So they're starting to get some hits on Romo. We've seen him limping around just a little bit, looking a little ginger. Here he comes up inside, and they want to see Romo on the ground as much as possible. Bang that back around.
Murray on first down. Again, stop, gain of 1, maybe 2.
Let's go back to Thanksgiving Day and how Tony Romo looked in that one. Clearly he didn't take the shot. You can see he could get nothing into that, through some floating interceptions. Tonight he's been much sharper, crisper. You see a little bit more torque on those throws, driving it out of there. He is going to be needed now. Goes to Jason Witten, goes to Dez Bryant, and has something started with this drive.
From the 44, second down and 9. Feed Murray again. And this time Murray takes off. Murray inside the 25-yard line to the 23. So he finally is able to break one. Tackled there by Jenkins. First down Dallas. That's a gain of 21 yards for DeMarco.
Good blocking here, good blocking here. Travis Frederick gets Benny Logan pinned down inside, and Leary just tenacious on that block on Bear. And really good running by DeMarco Murray that time. Would have been easy to try to bounce that one. He did a little too much of that against Chicago. Stayed on the path and came up with a big one.
At the 23-yard line. Murray cannot cut it back. Close that lane in a hurry. Benny Logan right there to stop him. Second and 11.
The real key to playing this stretch for Benny Logan is to keep his shoulders square. Don't let those offensive linemen get you turned. He played that perfectly that time. They want him sliding down the line with his shoulders square all the way down the line. There he is, which allowed him to get back off of Leary and make the play in the backfield.
Five receivers all going out. Romo fires, caught inside the 10-yard line. Bryant to the 2 to set up a first down and goal. His 4th reception of the night. 2 of those have been for touchdowns.
I think they were trying to double with the inside guy running out under Dez, and he ends up kind of running underneath it. That was Brandon Boykin, but 2 end cuts now to Dez Bryant. Has this offense back on track. What a huge drive this has been, because it looked like everything was going against the Cowboys.
That's good for a gain of 22. This drive started at the Dallas 22. First and goal from the 2. Draw to Murray, who takes the ball into the end zone. And so the Dallas Cowboys, who blew a 21-point lead, now take the lead again. And the extra point will make it a 4-point advantage. What a game. What a game.
You see it time after time. Whenever they need key yardage, short yardage situations, 3rd and 1s, goal line, they go behind the 2 young players, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin inside. Great run in there, but we have to give a lot of credit to Tony Romo and Dez Bryant on that drive, where their team desperately needed them, and they delivered.
And Murray broke off that 21-yard run. They ran the ball 5 times, threw it 3 times, go 78 yards in a little over 5 minutes. Bailey now for the point after. And the Dallas Cowboys in the final minute of the 3rd quarter lead Philadelphia 28-24. We got a skirmish here. Well, sooner or later. Flag comes in. All of it after the play. Nolan Carroll is one of the guys in there. Travis Frederick for Dallas.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 23. 15-yard penalty assessed on the kickoff. Timeout.
Well, that should make it pretty easy for a touchback when play resumes. 39 seconds left in the 3rd on Sunday Night Football. As the Eagles and the Cowboys battle for first place in the NFC East, and he could have had an easy touchback. Instead, Bailey kicks the ball to the 6-yard line. Boy, that was pretty dangerous. Huff brings it back to the 21. Church makes the tackles. From the 21. This drive starts with McCoy. Trouble picking up more than a couple. Eagles' first 2 drives tonight. 6 plays, no yards. And since then, 15 first downs, 24 points. Could be the final play of the period. Sanchez escaping, and then just going to dump it off, and that'll stop the clock, so there will be a little bit more time left. Selby put the heat on it. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for Philadelphia.
Jeremy Maclin working down the field. That's where he was trying to get the ball. Carr, good job just in this game, man. They've been so many calls down the field. You just take your hands off of them and say, I don't want any part of it. But so far, the Cowboys defense here, now this is what they wanted this game to be. They did not want it to be LaShawn McCoy. They wanted it to be about Mark Sanchez throwing.
They throw right here on a 3rd and 7. Pump fake, throws over the middle, and it is Wilcox who comes up with the ball. It was deflected off Zach Ertz's hands, and it's an interception. Got it before it hit the ground, and that's the way the 3rd quarter will come to an end, with Dallas retaking the lead and getting the ball back on Sunday Night Football. Back after these messages. So we go to the 4th quarter. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Here it is again now. They changed the rule, the Bert Emanuel rule, they call it, about 13 years ago. If you control the ball can hit the ground, which it does there, and it's legal. Same thing as a receiver. If a guy makes a catch, whether it's a catch or an interception, doesn't matter. Ball controlled by Wilcox. Play stands, and Dallas takes over at the 43-yard line of Philadelphia. Tony Romo will give the ball to Murray, and Murray with a big hole this time. all the way down to the 28-yard line. So they have held him in check, but of late now, 84 yards for him, restating the importance of this one. The winner moves into first place. They will have split the season series. The way the NFC is going right now, Eagles go to Washington and New York, so they take a train and a bus. Cowboys go home against Indianapolis and at Washington, and the Cowboys can't win the division if they have the same number of wins as the Eagles. So hugely important for both teams, in particular for the Dallas Cowboys. And it's no gain from Murray over the right side. Matthews makes the tackle, second down.
One of the things that Philadelphia thought was so important, especially in that first matchup, was they were able to displace that offensive line on some of those stretch running plays. And that time with Doug Free on the sideline, they pushed Jeremy Parnell back into the backfield for no gain.
Murray 25 carries tonight, 83 yards. Second and 10. Romo dumps it underneath. Murray to the 25-yard line. Again, Casey Matthews makes the tackle. And for DeMarco Murray, who's carried the ball 25 times, his first reception of the night.
Now he's got to be careful about swinging this ball out away from his body. He had 5 fumbles early in the year. Hasn't fumbled in the last 5 games, I believe it is. But he and LaShawn McCoy both have had a few issues with out in the pass.
3rd and 7. Blitz. Romo going deep for Bryant. Touchdown. 3 touchdown catches tonight for Dez Bryant, and they beat Bradley Fletcher again, this time for 25 yards.
All 3. If you want to play bump and run, you want to play man coverage, you got to take on the superstar. They have figured out a way. They have aligned over Bradley Fletcher all night, and Dez Bryant is killing him. Safety, no way to get that far over the top. And this place that was a party in a box about 15 minutes ago has gone deadly silent.
First touchdown hat trick of Bryant's career. Extra point is good. And the Dallas Cowboys have reassumed control. 35-24 in Philadelphia. Dez Bryant with 3 touchdowns, 12:48 to go in the 4th. And Bailey's kick, and Huff will down it in the end zone.
Dez Bryant on the outside looking in, sees Bradley Fletcher over him. What does Tony Romo say? Thumbs up, baby. We're going after him one more time. Let's go get number 3. Safety in the middle of the field. Fletcher just no match tonight. 13 touchdowns for Dez Bryant, now matching his career high. And remember the scene before the game when Malcolm Jenkins and he were exchanging pleasantries on the field. Not so pleasant tonight for Bradley Fletcher.
Now for the 20-yard line. Sanchez under pressure, loses his balance, goes down at the 9-yard line. Be an 11-yard sack. Tyrone Crawford coming through the middle.
Tyrone Crawford has really become a force inside, but this is what the Cowboys were hoping for. Even though they're running a play-action fake, because of the lead now, you take that a little bit less seriously. Crawford gets in and comes up with a sack.
Makes it second down and 21. And the Cowboys only rush 3. And the pass is caught on the run, and breaking free is Josh Huff. And Carr will track him down, but not until he reaches midfield and beyond. So it was second down and 21. And Huff makes a huge play.
This is a young man that was hurt early in the year, and A lot of people have wondered why he hasn't had a bigger role, a bigger part of this offense.
Sideline interference. Defense, substitute number 55. 15-yard penalty added it into the play. First down.
And that's the Dallas sideline. So there he goes. Sideline interference is what the call was.
If the referee can't run freely down the boundary and runs into a player or a coach in that white marked off area, then it is a foul. And usually it happens on plays like that when they break away.
And that's Carter on the bench. Here's Huff. It's 44 yards.
Right over here.
There's McLean right there on the sideline, impeding the official. So they march it off down to the 32-yard line. And the Eagles give the ball to McCoy for a gain of 1. McLean makes the tackle.
You just wonder where the Cowboys would have been this season without Rolando McClain. Of course, Sean Lee injured and a non-factor this year. Rolando McClain out of football a year ago. They make a preseason trade to get him, and he has been the man. He really runs this defense. They say he is the intellectual cog out there.
The fake pass too high.
Oh, baby.
Intended for Selleck.
Yeah, the old blue birds coming out on that one. Pretty wide open with Selleck here.
Yeah.
Got to be able to hit that one.
Of course, every third down now becomes pretty vital. 3rd down and 9. If they were stymied here and trying to kick a field goal.
Timeout.
First of all, Philadelphia takes a timeout, so each has used one. You know, Chris, you brought up that Philadelphia Inquirer action figure, the Tony Romo cartoon. There was also a column written by Mike Sielski today. One of the columnists talking about if the defensive backs don't have a decent night, in particular Bradley Fletcher, look out. That was quite prescient.
Yeah, and it really is, because you know what you're going to get with the Philadelphia Eagles defensively. They're going to challenge you. They're going to play that man coverage. And eventually somebody has to take Dez Bryant. And tonight, Dez Bryant has just been too much for Fletcher on the outside. Nice catch there, and it's been this same play twice over for touchdowns at about the same spot on the field. Be careful about firing up old Dez before the game even starts.
Now 3rd and 9. Here comes the blitz. The pass is caught, but short of the first down to the 25-yard line. That's Zach Ertz.
Boy.
So it's
you got to kick it here.
4th and 3. I think you do, because you make it an 11-point game, an 8-point game. So it's still a 1-possession game.
And a lot of time, as we've already seen from this Eagles offense, they have the ability to fly up and down the field in a hurry. 11 minutes to go. They're not afraid of that kind of lead.
This will be a 43-yard attempt here. Cody Parkey. And his kick is good to tack on 3 more, make it a 1-possession lead. 35-27 with 10:45 to go in Philadelphia. Put a little cotton on the top. It's fielded on the run, and Dwayne Harris had to reach down for it and gets popped out of bounds at the 20-yard line. These two guys, Murray and Bryant, the centerpieces of that offense, gaining more than 60% of the yards from scrimmage. You go back to Tiki Barber and Plexico Burris back in 05, and tonight 83 rushing yards, 2 TDs for Murray, and 99 receiving yards. 3 touchdowns for Dez Bryant, so they have accounted for the 35 Dallas points.
I remember talking to Dez earlier in the year. He said, hey, we heard all the people making fun of the Dallas Cowboys this offseason. It motivated us. It helped us train in the offseason. And here they are. If they can hang on here, on the brink of doing something great this year. From the 20-yard line.
Murray You know, Chris, it's the first time. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Let's go to Michelle right now.
Well, Eagles linebacker Trent Cole went to get an X-ray on his left hand. Out, he is questionable. Brandon Graham has replaced him for the time being.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Graham, number 55. And there he is. Fifth-year linebacker out of Michigan, who was the #1 pick back in 2010.
Yeah, no drop off there. They rotate 3 guys on the outside. The issue now for the Eagles defensively is they've already defended 63 plays. I think it was 84, 85 against Seattle. So they might be wearing down. The running game might become more and more effective for the Cowboys here late.
This is the Cowboys' 64th play. And it's Dunbar, and Dunbar will take the ball to the 29, setting up a key 3rd and 1. You know, Chris talking about, you know, the guys feeling a little bit disrespected, like, you know, a lot of players do. But it's the first time in 5 years I can remember the Cowboys, very little was expected of them. They're always underperforming, and this year they're overperforming what the expectations were.
I think even Jerry Jones made the comment that, well, we may not be so good. You know, I mean, I think he was wondering what kind of ball club he was going to have. But I think the draft choice, Zach Martin, and this offensive line, the way they played, has been the difference.
3 straight years of 8 and 8. Now they've already won 9. You look at Garrett in the last year of his contract. And here is Murray, and Murray just tries to keep those legs going. And where are they going to spot the ball?
I think
so.
So.
The officials coming in from the side, and it's going to be a little bit short of the first down. Big stop. Clock ticks down under 9 minutes, and they're forced to punt.
Big old Benny Logan right here in the middle. They try to go right behind their 2 young star offensive linemen and just don't get there. What a huge stop by the Eagles defensively.
Now Darren Sproles, who can be electrifying. You've been watching him through the years. Back to receive. Jones sends the kick toward the far sideline. Sproles collects it with a fair catch at the 23-yard line. 8.5 to go in the 4th. Dallas by 8. Now the Eagles start from the 23, and this drive begins with a run. And a decent one for a gain of 7 yards by Shady McCoy up to the 30-yard line. 2nd and 3.
Remember, Mark Sanchez has played in 2 AFC championship games with the Jets, so he is used to this kind of pressure.
2nd and 3. McCoy again. McCoy with some room. Flag down up to the 37. A pair of flags at the 30-yard line.
Holding, offense number 62. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's the center, Jason Kelsey, and there goes the first down.
Yeah, Bruce Carter tried to flip around him, and he just reached out with that right arm. Right here, you'll see as Carter goes around the backside, he reaches out with that right arm, and that hurts.
Back to 2nd down, 2nd and 13 now. Clock on the move under 8 minutes. Here comes Carter on the blitz. They pick it up. The pass is caught. That's a first down. That's Brent Selleck over the middle. The ball taken away from him, but the play was over. Kyle Wilbur came away with the ball, but it belongs to Philadelphia.
Let's see. The ball is moving. Did anything get to the ground?
And we're going to have a challenge.
I think so.
Jason Garrett, he's already challenged once. So this is his final challenge. He, of course, lost that challenge, so they're down to 2 timeouts. They'll be down to 1 if they lose this one.
Fumbled prior to being down by contact. Timeout.
The ball was moving, and he landed on top of the defender.
We'll see where it goes. We're back, and Dallas is going to wind up with the ball because the runner was on top of a Cowboy. You got Selleck here. He goes down on Wilcox. He never hits the ground. The ball comes loose. It's recovered by Wilbur, and right now they're just checking to see where to spot the ball. But Dallas is going to get the ball on the turnover.
After review, the runner lost control of the football prior to being down by contact. It'll be first down for Dallas at the 34-yard line. Please set the game clock to 7 minutes, 48 seconds.
So Garrett
Dallas is not charged with a timeout.
Not charged with a timeout. That's their last challenge, though, because they lost the first one. He never touches the ground.
Not a knee, not an elbow. forearm, nothing. And for J.J. Wilcox, that is the second big turnover he's been involved in. And for Selleck, that's one of those bizarre plays. You would say, I was down, but because there was somebody underneath him, he wasn't down.
So the Cowboys already within long field goal range in a one-possession game that could make it 2 if they get any points here. They start this drive from the 34-yard line. They have Klutz in the game at fullback. Here goes Murray to the outside, and it's another loss. Brandon Graham tackles him behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of 2, second down and 12.
Brandon Graham has had a sensational year. He really is. He's sort of a role player, 5.5 sacks. But when you try and run to his side, he is like a bowling ball over there. They almost tried to convince him to lose weight to play outside linebacker, and they said, oh, forget it. Just play it the way you like it.
You saw that graphic. Fewest turnovers in Philly history, 19 last year. This year, 32 turnovers already. In this game, number 14, most in the league. Play clock at 3. Second and 12. Romo buying time, fires wide open, making the catch. Dez Bryant, huge night, continues to the 21 and a first down.
Obviously, just a completely blown coverage. Nobody on Dez. They turn and run out here. And here's the guy that's been killing you all night, and there's not anybody within 20 yards. Tough night for the defensive backs of the Philadelphia Eagles.
6 catches, 114 yards, and Romo can begin to work on the timepiece right now. Under 6.5 to play. Takes the clock all the way down. Once again, Murray tackled for another loss behind the line of scrimmage. Again, Brandon Graham.
I'm telling you, this guy's been doing this all season long. Sneaks inside Tyron Smith and makes a play in the backfield. Desperately needed, because you would love to see Romo. I was going to say, love to see him put the ball in the air, but the way it's been going in the secondary, maybe not.
Well, they've done a good job on Murray tonight, except for that 121-yard scamper. 29 carries, 82 yards. That's less than 3 yards per carry.
We're backing off these receivers now, though.
Second and 14. Again, they milk the clock. Romo fires, and that's incomplete. Flag is down.
Marco Murray held in the backfield.
Holding, offense number 29. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Holding Michael Kendricks, and they're in danger of getting back out of field goal range here.
Yeah, he had a nice initial block, but then as Kendricks started to free himself, Murray just grabbed him over here. His second motion right there is the one he got called for.
So second down and 24. Right now you'd be looking at a 53-yard field goal. Again, a field goal hugely important because it would make it a 2-possession lead. 5.5 to go.
Got Dez down here again.
One-on-one. Pass is too high. He had him on an in-cut. And it's third and long. Kerry Williams covering on the play. 3rd and 24.
Yeah, and now I think they're starting to follow with Kerry Williams. They've seen enough of Bradley Fletcher on Dez Bryant, so that's the first time all night we've seen Kerry Williams across the field.
So what do you do here? I mean, I'm going for a 10 or 12-yard gain if I'm Dallas, just to get Bailey set up.
I'm not even afraid to run the football here. You've got them spread out all over the place. You need 5 or 6 yards to get that second score.
Then Romo under pressure. Look out. Shovel pass to the 31 to Witten. So they gain a few. They get 4, and that's going to set up about a 48, 49-yard attempt for Bailey to try to make it an 11-point game.
Not an issue. He has a long of 56 yards, 5 of 6 from over 50, so plenty of range here. He just couldn't take the sack. Good job by Romo escaping.
Of course, if he misses this one, Then Philadelphia will get the ball at its own 39-yard line. And Bailey is true for a 3. Huge field goal. 4:37 to play in regulation. 38-27 Dallas. Christmas, what, a week from Thursday? And it's down in the end zone as the Eagles now down by 11 points. 4:37. Then they have 2 timeouts as we head down the stretch.
How about Tony Romo, though, now on the road? 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. Remarkable.
3 touchdown passes tonight, all of them to Des Bryant. Meanwhile, Sanchez now 15 of 24. Started cold. A couple of real nice drives and then erased a 21-point deficit, only to see the Cowboys come back, retake the lead. Starts this drive with a pass to Macklin, and Macklin is out of bounds. Right at the marker.
Yeah, Brandon Carr, after giving up that long one down the field, now is giving plenty of cushion here. So Sanchez is going to be able to take some of those short, quick ones, and this offense has enough pace to it. You don't have to really change what you're doing.
From the 30. Sanchez under pressure, spins away a la Romo, and pump fakes, then throws deep downfield, and Riley Cooper is there. That's incomplete, and the Cowboys cover on the play, and Sterling Moore reaches for his back and is down on the grass.
The pump fake, oh my gosh, everybody's down.
Barry Church down as well, injury timeout. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Dallas. The pulse of the game, the Cowboys took a 21-0 lead before Philadelphia scored 24 unanswered points, but then the Cowboys rallied. Des Bryant, the career high 3 touchdown receptions. A huge night for him. DeMarco Murray into the end zone twice himself. And the Cowboys right now up by 11. It's 2nd down and 10. Moore and Church both shaken on the last play, both out for the moment. And Sanchez gets bottled up and taken down at the 26-yard line. So he hung in the pocket, and then Tyrone Crawford and Jeremy Mincy are both there for the sack.
Here's the coverage down the field. Of course, Carr now in a much better position. Hurts going across the field, maybe a shot. I'm a little surprised they didn't take a look at Tyler Patman with Riley Cooper at the bottom. He was the replacement, didn't even check that side.
3rd and 14. Moore and Church are both back in the game. And Sanchez is going to get sacked at the 13-yard line by Jeremy Mincy. And that's the 4th sack of the night for the Dallas Cowboys.
Jason Peters is coming out right here, and he expects Sanchez to step up. And when Sanchez goes backwards, all the leverage goes away at that point. So you have to, but you take a couple sacks, and I guess you say, I don't want to step up in there anymore.
So Mincy gets credit for the sack. It's 4th down and 25. Donnie Jones with a low liner that's fair caught at the 41-yard line. So 3:09 remaining. Philadelphia can stop the clock twice, plus the timeout of the 2-minute warning in an 11-point game.
And what would be, I believe, the biggest win of Jason Garrett's career if he could come out of here with one, to see his football team that has been known for falling apart in December. Tony Romo, who's been known for key interceptions late in the year that has hurt this team, to see them blow a 21-point lead and then go right back down the field, retake the lead, not lose their composure, was huge for this organization.
From the 40-yard line. Figures to be Murray time. Hardly had to be a genius to figure it out. Fletcher Cox makes the tackle, and Philadelphia will take a timeout. That's the 11th time tonight that Murray has been held for either no gain or negative yardage.
It's a tough bunch up there. It really is. And we've been talking about it all night. They did the same thing. The difference in this game really was the fact that Tony Romo got something going with the passing game and his mobility. The difference in his mobility in this game and what he was on Thanksgiving Day is night and day, and it probably should have been. Playing on Sunday night, come right back to it Thursday. He wasn't ready. He usually doesn't even practice until Thursday. He skips Wednesday practice, usually practices for the first time on Thursday. He just wasn't ready to play.
2nd and 10. Murray again. He's going to get taken down for the 12th time without gaining yardage. And Philadelphia now with 3 minutes will take its final timeout. So the only time the clock will now stop again will be the 2-minute warning. Murray for the season leads the league by plenty. This disaster strikes. He's going to wind up leading it. Running down records for him. Emmitt Smith at 1773, so he's bearing down on that. Might get it next week at home against Indy. Of course, you had Eric Dickerson for 21:05. That would be your mark that's held since the early 80s. 466, best career 3-game stretch. And tonight he's been the workhorse again. 31 carries, only 81 yards, but 2 touchdowns and a catch. And for the moment, he'll come out and Lance Dunbar comes in.
Yeah, 1 first down away now. The Dallas Cowboys basically almost locking this thing up. Be very difficult from there. 1 first down.
The Eagles out of timeouts, meaning out of challenges, but that's moved in another 60 seconds anyway. With the Dunbar up to the 43-yard line, so the Cowboys will have to punt before the 2-minute warning, but Philadelphia would need 2 scores and do it without a timeout. I agree. This is the big. I was just trying to think of the big wins he's had. I mean, his debut when he took over for Garrett, when he took over for Wade Phillips, was a big win in New York when nobody thought they could win. They beat Seattle earlier this year, but the last 3 years they've gone down to the last game of the season and lost it, and it cost them a chance to go to the playoffs.
And to this team, they've lost it.
Yep.
So then to get blown out on Thanksgiving and expectations plummet, and to come back into this building, but just so impressive, because it just felt like, you know what the headlines were going to be. Oh, the Cowboys choke away another 21-point lead. They can't win in December. They can't win the big games. All this kind of stuff. They were pecking away. That was going to be the story. And then they flipped the script. Des Bryant came up with some huge plays down the field. Jason Witten on that drive, but Tony Romo really answered when this crowd was going bananas in here. Calmly took his team down the field to retake the lead.
Up by 11, they punt here. We get a whistle before we get it. It's against Dallas. It'll cost them 5.
Start. Offense number 54. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So we head west. We go to Glendale, Arizona. The Seattle Seahawks red hot right now against the Arizona Cardinals with Kurt Warner at quarterback. We're about to make the playoffs. Unless this game winds up in a tie, Arizona is in. But the top spot in the West at stake next week. In the 23, it is dropped there and then picked back up by Darren Sproles, and they'll start the drive from the 24. I was only half kidding about Kurt Warner. Wasn't there a story this week about Kurt thinking about coming back? You saw that, right?
Nothing would surprise me. Why not? Kurt Warner was pretty good in those late season runs.
You think they would have made him wait 5 more years if he'd come back and played a quarter next week?
Probably.
For the Hall of Fame. But what a job that Bruce Arians has done. Don't know about Stanton. He's week to week with a sprained knee. Lost Palmer for the season. Caught by Riley Cooper He makes the catch at the 41, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning with exactly 1:57 to play. And the Dallas Cowboys trying to move into the top spot in the NFC East. Another great pal, Vern Lundquist, years ago, and 750 football games. And that's intercepted at the 45-yard line. And Brad can send the word all the way back to the Metroplex that Bruce Carter has, in effect, ended the game and cemented the Dallas Cowboys going into undisputed possession of first place in the NFC East.
Not the night that Mark Sanchez would have hoped for here. And for Jason Garrett, as good as it gets. To turn around and watch all these people leaving this building right in the middle of the field, right there. Bruce Carter, he is one of the most athletic linebackers there is. They say not as instinctive as Anthony Hitchens, but that takes care of that. And all the stuff about the 8 and 8s, and you can't have a winning record, and you can't win the big games, and all that stuff goes out the window right now.
It's a nice handshake there from Scott Linehan. A couple of kneel downs will end the game. Next week it's Indianapolis at home, and then on the road, and they'll try to look for a road sweep at Washington. The final week, Philadelphia, meanwhile, goes to Washington on the train next week, and then to the Giants on the bus the following week.
But this brings everything back into play for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
You know, they have a win in hand against the hottest team probably in football in Seattle, or at least they look like that. And this is a team now that you have to recalculate everything that you were thinking about the playoffs going forward, because most people would have assumed after Thanksgiving and the way that the Eagles now playing at home. Look at the Dallas Cowboys sitting on top.
There they are. Tony Romo, of course, has done the job. Nick Foles is going to go for an X-ray tomorrow to take a look at his left shoulder, the non-throwing shoulder. Don't know when he can come back. First of all, he's got to get the X-ray has to look better than it has the last time they took one. Have to see that it's healed, and then who knows about Foles and when or if Foles can come back before the end of the regular season or into the playoffs if the Eagles get there. So that's going to do it. We go from 21-0 Dallas to 24-21 Philadelphia to a final score of 38-27 Cowboys. Des Bryant with 3 touchdown receptions. DeMarco Murray goes in for 2 scores. Romo throws for 265, 3 TDs, no picks. Bryant has a great night, 6 catches for 114.